I'm heading into the final stretch of the original Crash Bandicoot. In this episode of Battle for Jaws of Darkness, make my way through Castle Machinery, battle Brio, take on the Lab, and complete the game for the showdown against Dr. Neo Cortex himself. Right now I'm at Jaws of Darkness, and Jaws of Darkness is really just a slight variation of Temple Ruins, and I feel like it's not much more difficult than Temple Ruins, and I feel like this is a pretty easy level for being so late in the game. And I also feel like this is pretty out of place for this point in the game, being on the third island. And you could say the bridge level from earlier is kind of out of place, but I feel like this level is more out of place than that earlier bridge level. And this is just something that's unique about this level. Another thing that's unique about this level is that it has the second Cortex bonus round. And I have tried to go through all the Cortex bonus rounds, and I have managed to complete the first one, and that did take a little while, but I haven't completed the second one, and I did try for a long time, but I never managed to actually complete it. And the thing about the Cortex bonus rounds, which is why I eventually gave up after a while, is that when you lose a Cortex bonus round, you have to replay the level all over again from the start in order to get another chance to retry it. And also, with the Cortex bonus rounds, it's easy to fall into the pit and end up having to restart it from the beginning, restart the level from the beginning, and then restart the Cortex bonus round from the beginning. And also, this level is a pretty lengthy level, being about 3 minutes in length to get to the end. Though the Cortex bonus round isn't at the end, it's near the end of the level. Now, there's a part that's going to be coming up pretty soon right here with the snake, where you want to spin the snake in a way where it doesn't hit the TNT, because if it hits the TNT and makes it explode, then it'll destroy the crave the Cortex token in it, and you won't be able to get it. So you want to jump on the snake or spin it in a way where it won't go straight forward. And you want to do that if you're going for 100%. Otherwise, you can just go ahead and not worry about how you attack the snake, because it won't matter if you get the Cortex token or not. If you're going for 100%, if you're not going for 100%. Here we are at Castle Machinery, and Castle Machinery is just a variation of Heavy Machinery, and I feel like this level is just a slightly more difficult variation of that level, and I feel like this is another level that's pretty easy for being so late in the game. And this part I feel like is really, along with Jaws of Darkness, is just the part where it's the calm before the storm, before I'm the lab, which has the most difficult section of the game easily by far. Even though most of the level is pretty easy, it still has the most difficult section in the game easily. And the big thing about this level is that there's a shortcut you can take if you have the yellow gem from the Lost City, which is gotten by breaking all the boxes in that level. And you can ride the gem up and get a bunch of extra lives and then go straight to the end of the level. But I don't really like taking shortcuts in platformer games. And unless there's like a time limit or something, I wouldn't really take a shortcut. So I just go ahead and play through all of the regular levels in platformer games and not skip anything and just show you everything. Though I don't go for 100% unless it's something that I want to do. Now, notably, runners will go for the yellow gem in the Lost City so they can skip this level, even though they wouldn't go for the other gems, but they still go for that gem because it's still faster to skip the level and break all the boxes in the Lost City than it is to skip the boxes in the Lost City and go through this level without breaking up the boxes and skipping the shortcut. But in a 100% speed run, you would need to go through all of the regular level without taking the shortcut, as you need to break all the boxes, and taking the shortcut skips the boxes. Speaking of boxes, there are a good amount of boxes down there that I could break that have extra lives, but you take a big risk by falling. And I might have tried it once, and apparently from what I've heard in speedruns, it's difficult to get through there without losing a life while breaking all the boxes. So it's one of those things that it's not really worth the risk, I think, probably for me. It probably wouldn't be worth the risk for me to go down there and try and get extra lives. Because I might end up losing a life trying to get those extra lives. Now, the next boss I'm going to be fighting is Nitrous Brio, or Dr. Embryo for short, and at first I found him to be a somewhat tricky boss, but with this new strategy I found him to be a lot easier, and now I don't have trouble fighting him, at least not often, except for this time, and I'll go ahead and talk about the strategy coming up pretty soon. So the first thing to know is that you can't attack him directly at first. He'll just, if you get too close to him, he'll put up his beakers and then try and attack you if you get closer to him. And he'll also throw these potions that you have to avoid, and then he'll throw potions that make these slime fiends appear. And what I do here instead of attacking them right away is wait for them to tire out and land on the ground and stop moving before I go ahead and attack them. And I just run around and tire them out and then jump on them on the ground. And then if they start to move again, I just tire them out again. Or when they start to move again, I just tire them out again. And then that's really the only difficult part of the battle, I find. Which used to be difficult until I found out this new strategy for it. Which takes a little bit longer to do the battle, but it makes it a lot easier at the same time. And this last part I think is pretty easy, even though I took a hit there, which normally I don't do, but still able to make it by without losing a life, which is good. Here we have the lab, and there'll be these iron crates that you want to spin in order to make the door open, and you want to get through quickly, otherwise the door will close on you. And the door can also make you lose a life or damage you if you have Aku Aku with you. Although I've never gone into this level of Aku Aku, so it may just make you lose life instantly even if you have Aku Aku, but I'm not sure. And it also makes areas pop up, which will allow you to get through as well. There are also platforms that'll appear and then disappear, and there are these guys that'll get electrified that you can only spin them when they're not electrified. And there are also these slime fiends which will keep showing up until you get past them, or you get close enough to the area where they show up. But you can defeat them if you need to. And this guy spun forward. I spun him forward and he went to a bunch of TNTs. And he also broke the crate with the extra life in it, which makes things a bit difficult for getting past this next guy. What I like to do is I jump over the crate with the extra life in it, and then I go at a certain point immediately, and I tend to make it every single time. Though sometimes this doesn't work out. But It tends to work out more often than not, and I'm able to make it by without losing too many lives. Normally I lose at least one life there, but this time I was able to make it by without losing a life, and without using the one strategy that I normally use, which is pretty good. And this part can be pretty difficult to get by if you don't use the going to the right strategy, but if you use the going to the right strategy, then it's pretty easy to get by. And that's probably not the intended way, but it's a way nonetheless, and makes it a whole lot easier to get by. And here we have the Great Hall, and the point of this level is that you can use the gems to get to the one to the you can use the gems to get to the one you can use the gems to get to the 100% ending if you've gotten all of them. Otherwise, you could just use the portal in order to exit the level. And Crash will always do that sighing animation even if he hasn't lost a life in the level. And you can go past the level, and this will allow you to get to Dr. Cortex. Now, a note about beating this battle is that it won't save the game when you do that. So you want to save the game before you go to Cortex by going to the Tawna bonus round in the lab, or one of the other Tawna bonus rounds if you haven't done them already. And in this battle, all you have to do is avoid the other projectiles and spin the green projectiles back at Dr. Cortex. Some of them will go to the tower, but eventually they'll start to go to Dr. Cortex. And then the blue projectiles will go to the left or right, or they'll go up and down. And then there are the purple ones, which will just go straight forward. And this battle I feel like is pretty easy for being late in the game. And now we've just beaten the game, and we're gonna go ahead and move on to the ending of the game, which isn't a very lengthy ending. And then we'll be showing the credits to this game, which aren't very lengthy either. And before I end my commentary, I'll just mention that there are different videos I've watched of this game to try and find inspiration for comments to make on this video, or to see what was out there about this game in terms of comments. And I'll put links to those videos that I've watched in the video description. So yeah, if you like this video, be sure to leave it a like. And if you want to see more Crash Bandicoot videos, be sure to subscribe. And if that'll be the end of this video, this is Isaac, and I will see you later.